Welcome to my channel.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here. Today, I'd like to talk about something that almost all of us struggle with at some point in life: the art of letting go. Whether it's the end of a relationship, a missed opportunity, a painful mistake, or even a version of ourselves that no longer exists, letting go is never easy. We often hear people say, just move on, but if it were that simple, none of us would struggle with it. To help us explore this topic, I'm joined by today's guest, Emma. Welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to be here because I think this is one of those conversations that everyone needs, even if they don't realize it.
I couldn't agree more. You know, I've always wondered why letting go is so difficult. Deep down, we often know that something is over, yet we still find ourselves looking back. Why do you think that happens?
I think it's because we're not only letting go of a person or a situation. We're letting go of the memories, the dreams, and the future we imagined. Sometimes we're grieving something that never even happened. We're grieving the possibilities. And that's what makes it so painful.
That's such an interesting way to look at it. So often, we're not holding on to reality, we're holding on to our expectations.
Exactly. Our minds naturally replay the good moments while quietly ignoring the reasons things ended in the first place. We begin asking ourselves questions like, what if I had done something differently? Or, what if I had one more chance? Those questions feel important, but most of the time, they don't help us heal. They simply keep us living in the past.
I think many people listening can relate to that. It's almost like we become trapped in a conversation that has already ended. We keep searching for answers, even when there may not be any.
That's right. One lesson I've learned is that closure doesn't always come from another person. Sometimes closure comes from making peace with the fact that you may never get every answer you were hoping for. And although that's difficult to accept, it's often the beginning of healing.
I really like that. There's a quote that says, acceptance doesn't mean you liked what happened. It means you stopped fighting reality. I think that's what letting go is really about.
Absolutely. Acceptance isn't weakness. It's emotional maturity. It's recognizing that some things are beyond our control and choosing not to waste our energy trying to change the past. Because no matter how many times we replay yesterday, tomorrow won't change unless we let ourselves move forward.
That leads me to another question. Do you think people sometimes confuse letting go with giving up?
Definitely. Many people think that letting go means they didn't care enough. But I see it differently. Letting go isn't giving up on someone. It's giving yourself permission to heal. It's choosing your peace over endless pain. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do isn't holding on, it's having the courage to release what no longer serves you.
That's a powerful perspective. Another emotion people often struggle with is guilt. Some people blame themselves for everything that went wrong. How can they move past that?
The first step is recognizing that none of us are perfect. Every decision we make is based on what we know at that moment. Looking back, it's easy to think, I should have done this differently. But hindsight always gives us clearer vision than we had at the time. Instead of punishing yourself for your mistakes, ask yourself, what did this experience teach me? Growth begins the moment we replace self-blame with self-reflection.
That's such an important distinction. Learning from your mistakes is very different from living inside them.
Exactly. Your mistakes are chapters in your story. They are not the title of your life. Every challenge, every disappointment, and every heartbreak has the potential to make you wiser, if you allow it to.
I love that. Let's talk about forgiveness for a moment. Do we have to forgive someone before we can truly let go?
I think forgiveness is often misunderstood. People think forgiveness means saying, what you did was okay. But that's not what it means. Forgiveness means choosing not to let anger continue controlling your life. Sometimes you forgive because you deserve peace, not because the other person deserves another chance.
That's beautifully said. I imagine that forgiveness can also apply to ourselves.
Absolutely. In fact, forgiving yourself is often the hardest part. We're usually kinder to other people than we are to ourselves. But healing begins when we start speaking to ourselves with the same compassion we'd offer a close friend.
Before we wrap up, I'd love to ask one final question. If someone listening today feels stuck in the past and doesn't know how to move forward, what would you say to them?
I'd tell them this: healing doesn't happen overnight. Some days you'll feel like you've moved on. Other days an old memory may suddenly bring back sadness. That's completely normal. Don't measure your progress by how quickly you heal. Measure it by how often you choose hope over fear. Remember, letting go doesn't erase your past. It simply allows your past to stop controlling your future. And one day, you'll look back and realize that what once broke your heart also made you stronger, wiser, and more grateful for the life you're living now.
Emma, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today. This has been such a meaningful conversation, and I hope it's reminded our listeners that healing isn't about forgetting. It's about finding the strength to move forward while carrying the lessons, not the pain. To everyone listening, if there's something you've been holding on to, maybe today is the day to loosen your grip just a little. Because sometimes, making room for a better future begins with letting go of what's weighing you down. Thank you so much for spending these few minutes with us. Until next time, take care of yourself, be kind to your heart, and remember, some endings aren't meant to break you. They're meant to make space for a new beginning. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, and take care.